I want to talk about today, making a difference. Yeah, nothing's too serious. Like casual, making a difference. No, I'm just kidding. But a lot of you might be feeling a little overwhelmed, feeling that you want to get involved, you want to do something, you want to make a difference. But you're not sure how. You're thinking the presidential election, one vote. You don't have the money for the politicians at the national level to pay you any mind. You're not going to buy a $100,000 dinner or a $100,000 table at a dinner for a politician. So what can you do? I want to talk about that today. I have two contrasting stories that I hope gives you hope. Welcome to Fight Laugh. No, oh, wait, I guess we're on the Fight Laugh Network. Welcome to How to Build a Tent, the podcast, How to Make You Successful, on How to Make You Successful. My name is Matt Williams. We are part of the Fight Laugh Network. Go over to flfnetwork.com. Put an HGBT in the memo field. Get a sweet mug like that. Get a Fight Laugh shirt. And got tons and tons of other benefits. Email me, Matt at howtobuildatent.com. Find me on all the social media sites, How to Build a Tent. I'd love to hear from you, even though we are at a point now where I cannot answer every single direct message, every email. I read them all. I promise you that. And if I can respond, if I feel like I can provide value, that's my filter right now of if I can reply, if I can provide value, I will respond, Lord willing. And if it's not too crazy, because there's a lot of great things going on right now, and I'm so thankful that even in the chaos, God is still working. He never stops working. Just step back and think about that for a second. There is never a moment in time where God is not accomplishing his will. He is not using the circumstances that we see to accomplish his will. And that's encouraging to me. I hope that's encouraging to you as well. I was talking with a teacher from a very conservative state. And their school board or their board of education or whatever it is was talking about mandating having the teachers wear masks, having social distancing if they come back to school at all. It might just be continually remote, which I just have to say also on a completely side note, it is really encouraging to see not just even Christian families, but what's wrong with you Christian families sending your kids to public school, but even those who are not Christian, who are going to homeschool their kids, that are going to take ownership of their children's education and not send them back to those indoctrination centers. It's fantastic. I see Republicans fighting for the schools to be reopened. And I just smack my head and think, do you guys not have any common sense at all? Do you have no strategy at all? You're fighting to send them back to the teachers that are teaching them to hate you, to vote against you, and to hate America. Why are you fighting for that, you crazy, crazy cats? But, to each their own. So we have in conservative states where you wouldn't think that a Democrat would ever have a stronghold. There are boards of education that are voting to implement face masks at public schools, implement the social distancing, implement all of that craziness, even though the data shows otherwise. And even the data that is false. It's like, I don't believe the data at all anyways. I don't know if you saw in Florida, there's been major over-reporting. In Orlando, I believe it was, I forgot what area it was. I think it was Orlando. It was somewhere in Florida where I live. They were reporting a 96% positive rate. It turned out after being questioned by the local news that it was it was 98%, and it turned out to be a 9.6%. I posted the article on Facebook. It's unbelievable. How do you go from 96% to 9% being the actual number? There's something fishy going on there. But all right, that's not even the point of the show. I'm just getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. It's late. It's late in the evening for me. So we have these super conservative states making these illogical, irrational decisions. But in my home state of California, the communist California West, where I don't know if it gets more liberal. Some may argue New York. I don't know if that is the case. In my home county, Orange County, which for those of you who do not know, it is below LA County. It is connected to, or it's touching, the borders touch of LA and San Diego. So it goes Mexico, San Diego, Orange County, LA, and then San Bernardino is on the right or whatever. Now, Orange County has been typically in the past a conservative county. All the conservatives that worked in LA would, either be in Orange County or Ventura County, which is the Malibu West area. But when I was starting to leave Orange County, it was becoming very liberal because, liberalism spreads, Marxism spreads. Don't you know? But Orange County, the Board of Education votes for kids to return to classes in the fall without requiring social distancing for masks. All right. It was a vote of 4-1. Fantastic. 4-1. One dissenter. It was absolutely hilarious. And it's funny. There's pictures of the board and there's like all these people not with masks. And then there is the one person with a mask. And it's like, I wonder who the dissenter was. But there's two things I want to point out to this. So the first thing is that if you are in the public education, now I, for one, do not believe that we should be sending our kids to public schools. However, and this is a big however, I do not think it is wrong for Christians to be in the public schools, to be working in there, to be in the administration, to be on the boards, to be on the Board of Education, to be influencing the curriculum and the direction, the philosophy, the mentality of the school system as much as possible. Because if it's going to exist, even though it shouldn't, and if kids are going to be taught there one thing or another, then we should consider that a battlefield for Christians to implement, to advance, and to control to the glory of God as best we can. And this contrasting story of my friend who's a teacher making plans for what he's going to do because he's not going to wear a mask. He's not going to buy into the propaganda. He's not wearing the Marxist burqa, and thinking through, and I'm helping him kind of focus and help him develop and think about new career paths he can have based on his skills, what value he can provide, and things like that. In a conservative state versus in the Marxist bastions of California. And in California, doesn't get more liberal. The Orange County Board of Education votes for sanity. And I started the show off saying, I want this today to be an encouragement for you because a lot of you are not sure what you can do. You're not sure how you can influence politics yourself. You're not sure how you can support others that you believe in. You're not sure how you can encourage people who are passionate, who do want to make a difference. Because the federal level of politics is too big. It's too overwhelming. There's too much power there for you to ever make a difference. But what about your Board of Education? What about mayors of your city? That even in these counties and these cities that can go against the grain in California, the deepest, darkest blue, which in reality is deep, dark red, Marxist communist. But even they can make a difference for these kids. Even the Board of Education. Now, $1,000 given to the presidential election doesn't go very far. It doesn't go very far at all. $1,000 for somebody, a Christian, running for the Board of Education, for mayor, for comptroller of a county, like Gabriel Wrench on the Cross Politic channel up in Moscow, Idaho, goes a long way. Goes a very long way. And that is something you can bite off and chew. That is something that is not overwhelming. And if we can start here at the Board of Education of our cities, if we can start here as mayors and the county level, and if we can start taking back the politics there, and start building coalitions around Christian, godly conservatives that aren't going to bend the knee to Baal, that aren't going to cower away. They're not going to sell their souls. They're not going to betray us. If we can start there, that will have ripple effects up into the state level, up into the federal level. We just have to start. And this is a place where we can start. If Orange County can do it in California, then every single county, every single family can have it done in their county, in their city, in their schools. We can do it. Let's focus. Let's hone our strategy. Let's hone our finances. Let's pray together. Let's get together with our friends and neighbors and talk about this and figure out plans on how you can make a change, make a difference in your local elections. The national level is far too big for us in so many levels. Our small business isn't going to be able to float a Senate candidate, a House of Representatives candidate, but they will be able to do it for a board of education. And what could you do with a board that is completely run by Christians in education? What could you do when your city is completely controlled by Christians, faithful men that are going to fight for the lordship of Jesus? What could you do if your county was a sanctuary county against the lawlessness, the abortion, the slaughter of children, the sacrifice to idols? Those goals are within reach for you. Those goals are within reach for us. And then it builds from there. That's not all, but that's where we can start. And that's where we can get quick wins. That's where we can win. That's where we can back people. That's where we can influence people. That's where we can start moving the goalpost back in our direction. We are not helpless. We are not out of moves. We are not defeated. There are plays to be run. There are positions to be filled. We just have to get our eyes focused on the right things, on the things that God has put in front of us to take. And then we'll take the next hill after that. But we have to start with the hill that God has given us the ability to climb. And be encouraged with that. And the last thing I want to say, and I want you to be encouraged by my friend's story, that he refuses to bow the knee to Baal, to bow the knee to the government, to comply, because he understands the Marxist burqa and what it is all about. He understands what this play is being run. And he's making the sacrifice of jeopardizing his job over it. And so we're going to rally around him. We're going to help him. We're going to support him. We're going to get him a plan so that if this does happen, that he won't be just left out to dry with him and his family. You can be that man too. You can be that brave man. Man, there's this great story going around Facebook my wife shared with me. I think a lot of the cross-politic people or the Fight Laugh Feast people shared it around. I think I saw it in the Fight Laugh Feast family party. Is this boy, his face is all torn up. I think he had 92, 98 stitches, something like that. Because he jumped in front of his sister. I think he was 6 years old, jumped in front of his 3 or 4 year old younger sister and said, I was going to die for her because that's what I was supposed to do. What if Christian men showed that kind of bravery? What if Christian men showed that kind of sacrifice? We would control the county boards. We would control the mayorships. This country would look completely different. It's time for us to stand up and stand in front of our family, in front of the wolves, in front of the predators, and say, you have to get through me. You have to get through me. These battles are not immediate life or death, but they're gradual. And we're getting cut by slow paper cuts, one after another. And the paper cuts and the cuts, the knives are getting bigger and bigger with every day that's passing. And the longer we wait to stand in the gap, the bigger the cuts the more dangerous it's going to be. The time is now. Let's go out and be successful. We'll talk to you tomorrow. God bless.